really is a great cause, and we're very excited to be a part of it. So Gayle Cotton, a National Emmy Award winner and the author of the best-selling book, Say Anything to Anyone, Anywhere, 5 Keys to Successful Cross-Cultural Communication. She is president of Circles of Excellence, Inc., a distinguished keynote speaker, corporate trainer, and executive coach. She has presented for the United Nations, world governments, and more than 50 Fortune 500 companies around the world. She has been featured on numerous TV shows, including NBC News, BBC News, Good Morning America, PM Magazine, Pacific Report, and PBS. Gayle has the distinction of being the first American accepted as a member of the European Association of Marketing and Sales Experts and is a certified expert in the Executive Foundation for International Communication. She is a faculty resource for Young Presidents Organization, YPO, and the World Presidents, WPO, Chief Executive Organization, CEO, and Entrepreneurials Organization. I'm going to have to ask you for lots of advice. Please join me in welcoming Gayle Cotton, our keynote.
Wow. I'm not even an event planner, and I'm excited after hearing Marin's opening. This sounds like it's going to be a great event. Yeah, he just took our question box, and it's probably a good thing because this is a jam-packed presentation, and more than likely, I won't have a chance to take too many questions, but more than likely, you're going to have a bunch. So to let you know, I'm going to be here all day today. I'm going to be at the Safeco event tonight. And so just grab me or poke at me and let me know what you want to know. And I'll be happy to try to address as many questions during the day as I can. All right, let's get over here. As Marin had said, the title of my book is Say Anything to Anyone, Anywhere. It's not a book that I ever planned to write. I was happily running my corporate training company when John Wiley and Sons called me up and said, we'd like you to write a book, and this is what we'd like it to be called. And I said, really? And they said, yeah. And I said, well, when do you want it done? And they said, by about July. And they were calling in January, and I laughed. And I said, you've got to be joking. And they said, no, we really want you to write this book. And I actually told them, they asked me, they said, when do you think you could write the book if you can't have it ready by July? And I said, I could probably start by July if you can wait until the following spring to publish. So that is in fact what we did, and that's how I ended up with a best-selling book. So it's been kind of a little adventure for me along the way. So let's talk a little bit about saying anything to anyone, anywhere. It's communication-based. However, we have a multicultural workforce right here in the USA. So you don't have to travel anywhere. You don't have to really go out of your own workplace, and especially as event planners with all the people that you deal with in the hotel industry, because we are a multicultural workforce and we communicate with different cultures every single day. Wouldn't you agree? Always, always. Now, if you do travel, and I've had the opportunity to do a lot of that, you can come up with some pretty interesting things that happen along the way. And I'm going to read you something here that has been one of the favorite things that was ever given to me. It's a little synopsis of faux pas, if you will, using the English language in other countries. And I'm seeing friends I met in the audience from last night out there. Hi, everybody. And it's entitled, Is What You Say What You Mean? Sometimes it all gets lost in the translation. So, listen to a few of these mishaps as it resulted from translation of the English language. Sometimes it really does get all lost in the translation. There is a Japanese hotel that has a lobby in their that has a sign in their lobby that says, "You are invited to take advantage of the chambermaid." Now, a Zurich hotel, I actually saw this because this one was up in the early 2000s when I was living there. But at a Zurich hotel, they have a sign in their lobby that reads, "Because of the impropriety of entertaining guests of the opposite sex in the bedroom, may we suggest that you use the lobby for this purpose." Talk about provincial, right? Now, a Swiss restaurant proudly warns on their menu, "Our wines leave you nothing to hope for." Now, by any and all means, avoid the Acapulco hotel that gives new meaning to quality control because they have a sign that reads, "Our manager has personally passed all the water served here." Careful motif. A little bluntness from Bucharest. They have a sign by an elevator in an office building that reads, "Our lift is being fixed for the next day. During this time, we do regret to tell you that you will be unbearable." Now, if Budapest Zoo puts people first, they have a sign that reads, "Please do not feed the animals. If you have any suitable food, give it to the guard on duty." Now, there's a refreshingly honest dentist in Hong Kong who has a sign on his door saying, "Our teeth are extracted by the latest Methodists." Clothing signs can also be unfitting. There is a Swedish furrier who has a sign in his window that says, "Our fur coats are made for ladies from their own skins." And there is a sign in a Paris dress store that says, "Our dresses are exclusively for street walking." But who needs clothing? "Drop your trousers here for best results," suggests a Bangkok dry cleaner. While a laundry in Rome has a sign that says, "Ladies, leave your clothes here and spend the afternoon having a great time." Now, this is my all-time favorite, and I see that we have an audience with a number of women in it, probably half women at least. And this is a sign that is in a Roman doctor's office. And his sign reads, are you ready? "Specialist in women and other diseases." So truly, sometimes it does all get lost in the translation. Now, let's talk a little bit about the 5 keys. Creating proactive communication. That's all about preparation. Rapport secrets. You know, there's some certain things that you can do to build rapport that does bridge that cultural gap. Organizing productive interactions. Sometimes you have to think about the cultures that you're going to be working with and organize a little bit the best way to approach that. To give you a quick example, in a meeting in Germany, they will arrange the chairs kind of spaced apart. You don't want to push them back together as you would here because they like that space. So you need to learn a few little things, and we'll talk about that. Strategies for relationship. How to maximize your communication, your effective communication, and minimize ineffective communication. And finally, my favorite, success leaves clues. That's like, why reinvent the wheel? If somebody can tell you a few clues along the way, take them and use them. So we'll be talking a little bit about that. Now, all together, what you're doing is creating rapport and organizing strategies for success. And that is the cross of cross-cultural. Creating proactive communication. Let me tell you something. If you're not proactive in your communication, you're more than likely going to be reactive. Wouldn't you agree with that? And you have to think about it right here in the workplace. If you're not prepared, to present something, if you're not prepared to communicate with someone, whether it be from another culture or not, chances are you're going to have some reactivity going on. So being prepared is the number one thing. Now, when you work with other cultures, the thing that you have to think about is that it's really easy to unintentionally offend people. And we don't even think about that. But we do it. We do it with our tone of voice. We do it with our body language. We do it in a number of different ways. So being proactive is just taking some of these things into consideration. Now, the other thing that you have to think about, if you do work with other cultures, and especially if you do travel, and let me see a show of hands, how many people here do travel or interact even virtually on the phone or in email with people from other countries? Do a lot of people do that? Oh, a lot more people than I thought. Okay. Oftentimes, people do have preconceived perceptions about other cultures. Wouldn't you agree with that? Yes, we do. Everybody has certain preconceived ideas about expectations and about the way that cultures are. And sometimes our preconceived conceptions about other cultures can create strikes against us. And strikes are just something that, you know, they're like assumptions that people make about you. And assumptions that may be positive, may not be positive. So when I started working in Geneva, Switzerland, I wasn't really concerned about strikes, but in the mid-90s, I might as well have looked like this. I could have been wearing a rainbow wig because I had 3 big strikes against me and I had no idea, and I was a cultural expert. And when I got up and did my first presentation at the United Nations in the mid-90s, I did not get the reaction that I expected to get. So I had to ask myself, what am I doing wrong? What could I do better? What are my 3 strikes? Now, you in the audience can see what I look like here, all right? Can you tell me, what do you think my 3 strikes were when I was working in Geneva, Switzerland, United Nations, teaching, listen, cultural science? What do you think they were?
Dress.
Being female, yeah, it takes a female to know one. That's true. And in those days, you know what? I might have 3 women in my audience. Can you believe that? It was just different. Okay, female's number 1. What's another one?
Dress. Your dress.
Dress. Yeah. Dress was definitely one of them. I had to change the way that I dressed. But that was something I did to adapt. It wasn't one of the big strikes.
Being American.
Being American. Thank you. It's like, what do you know about culture? You're American. And why are you here talking to us? So that and being a woman. Now, there was a 3rd one that I had. Can anybody guess what that one was?
Blonde.
Yeah! Exactly! I found out that the dumb blonde jokes were global. I really did. I really did. And not only that, I found out that being short also was kind of a semi-strike against me. So I started wearing very high heels, and I've never stopped. So yeah, I had some strikes against me. Now, to this lady's case in point, I had to change my style. So we redressed me. I wore more the IBM look style of suits in the IBM colors. I actually, it was kind of we were talking about that at this table. It was the day of the big hair. And I had moved from Dallas, so I had the Texas big hair. And what I had to do was trade that Texas big hair for a French twist. And a French twist, it looks just like what this little blonde in the PowerPoint slide is wearing. You just twist it all up in the back. I actually wore fake eyeglasses with clear glass, and I did. I really did. And I wore very, very high heels. Skirts were also longer. By the way, ladies, no pants in those days. Women did not wear pantsuits. Everybody dubbed it the librarian look, but you know what? It worked. It worked. And not only did I adapt that to a certain extent, but, you know, I have kind of a vivacious, friendly style with people, and in my speaking, we call that entertainment in the United States. That didn't go over so well in Europe. They wanted to be educated, just educated. So I had to walk out there very professionally and look at them and address them and not really smile a lot to begin with, and speak in rather a moderate tone of voice, tone down all my body language, take things very seriously, and hit them with facts. Hit them with facts about cultural science. And it worked. It worked. Now, when I moved back to Dallas, and I found out I have something, where are you, Marin? Something very in common with Marin here. When I moved back to Dallas, I again had strikes against me. It was 6 years later, and I had married a Frenchman. And my name, and it still is my name, was Gayle Cotton Del Pierre.